Was Slinky here?
It was in the back of my car. He was on it.
So where do you want the speakers?
We're going to do the speakers here, and we'll have the. I'm waiting for the girls over there with the sound. Okay.
I got it. I'm gonna get that.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here.
I'll be the holder.
Is there an Open Cal Now on sign here?
Over here. It's over here because it would stick on there.
Bummer. Okay. All right. Are we ready? What time's the 10 o'clock meeting start?
10 o'clock. We got time.
Are we ready? You want Leslie up here?
Yeah. And do you guys mind kind of?
You're before me.
I'm introducing you.
Hi.
It's on. Is this the one that doesn't work?
It's a new one that hopefully does work.
All right.
And real quick, who's
I know.
No.
I don't know. She's hard to predict. If she does, we'll get her in.
We'll get her in, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's coming, and then I don't have to interview.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome today to a joint meeting here between Orange County and San Diego County supervisors, myself, Jim Desmond, also Kristen Gaspar, and also with Orange County Supervisor Don Wagner's here today. And we're here today to talk about Open Cal Now. Open Cal Now is a petition that we're putting forward for businesses to sign so we can let the governor know how many businesses are open and willing to open and willing to open safely. So it's opencalnow.com is what we want to encourage all businesses to sign on to. We'll pass it on to the governor and let him know what we in San Diego County and Orange County, and we're trying to expand this to Riverside County as well, what we're thinking and we are all willing to open up safely. So today, speaking is going to be Orange County Supervisor Don Wagner. From the Cohen Restaurant Group, Leslie Cohen. The CEO of Brigantine Family Restaurants is here today, Mr. Mike Morton Jr. We have the mayor of the city of San Marcos, Rebecca Jones, and Oceanside Deputy Mayor Jack Feller is with us today. And I also want to note it's a couple other mayors that couldn't make it today because of other commitments, and that's Matt Hall, Mayor of Carlsbad, is supporting our effort, along with Mayor of Vista, Judy Ritter, here lending their support today, even though they couldn't make it. But this is really an important day for San Diego County, and actually to have the supervisors of the second and third largest counties in California. LA County is number one. San Diego County has number two at 3.3 million people in San Diego County and 3.2 million people in Orange County. We have the owners of the most iconic restaurants in San Diego County, as I mentioned, the Cohen Group and the Brigantine restaurants, all coming together to say Southern California has had enough. We are willing to open safely. We want the same opportunities for our businesses to have the same opportunities that the big box stores have to open safely and operate. And regardless of the governor's announcement today, It doesn't matter if we're the red tier or the purple tier, wherever he lands us, businesses cannot survive in the current tiers that they're in. There's no business plan for a gym at 10% capacity to be successful. There's no business plan for a restaurant to be open and operating at 25% capacity. Churches are still limited to 100 people, even though we have churches that can hold up to 3,500 people. The inconsistencies, the frustration is astounding out there. We just want to do what's right, what's common sense, and this is not medical versus business. This is businesses adopting all of the medical protocols. Businesses willing to do that. They just want the opportunity to prove it. And I've said this time and time again, they're all willing to do the right thing. They are innovative, they're resilient, they're entrepreneurs. They have invested thousands of dollars to protect their workers and their customers. And we've lost sight of the original goals. As of September, San Diego County, we are still in the single-digit percentages of coronavirus patients in hospitals. It's about 7% of the people in hospitals are there for coronavirus. We know we can identify the threat and we can continue to protect the most vulnerable. Now, some people are trying to politicize the virus. Some politicians are focused more on instead of the people they represent, they're trying to represent government and keep in our way. People need to pay for college. People need to pay for their families. They need to pay their rents and their mortgages. This is about people's livelihoods. This is about people having to lay off what they feel like are family members, employees that have been with them for years and years. You're going to hear about the Cohen restaurants and the Brigantine family restaurants. They employ thousands of people in San Diego County, many of whom their livelihoods are destroyed and they're just sitting waiting by the phone hoping to reopen again. I want to thank Mike Morton Jr., the Brigantine family restaurants, and I want to thank Leslie Cohen of the Cohen's Group for letting us come in front of this wonderful restaurant today. And I want you to know that we will continue to fight. It's at the county, I will, and Supervisor Gaspar continue to fight and continue for safe reopenings in San Diego County, and we want you to weigh in as well. Go to opencalnow.com, sign up, get registered. Let us know how you feel about things, and we'll take those names to the governor and let him know how you feel. Thank you very much. I'm now going to introduce Supervisor Wagner from Orange County. He's going to speak to you for a little bit here and enlighten you about what's going on in Orange County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond. It is a real pleasure to be in San Diego County and take the message that we shared a couple of weeks ago up in Orange County. And the message you just heard from Supervisor Desmond and is enshrined in opencalnow.com. The message to the governor is, we can open safely. Our businesses want the opportunity to prove it. Virtually every industry has best practice manuals available that say how to get back to business safely, protect themselves, their employees, their customers. They know they can do it. We've got behind us parents with their kids who know their kids are not well served by distance education. The children need to be back in the schools, and the schools can reopen safely. The governor needs to hear that message. He's now on his third scheme for how to deal with coronavirus, and it's fairly clear that he's making it up as he goes along. What we've got now is this multi-tier, multicolor system. It follows on the watch list, which follows on the phasing scheme, and the truth of the matter is, we've done what the scientists, the doctors, the epidemiologists, and the governor said we need to do, and that's flatten the curve. We've got the curve flat. In Orange County, our hospitalization rate has been sufficiently low. We never were in danger of running out of hospitalization beds. We were never in danger of running out of ICU beds or of ventilators. We did what the governor said we need to do, flatten the curve. The response from the state of California is not, thank you very much, let's now reopen safely. The response from the governor is a new plan that completely omits those things we were told were important. So much for following the science. The new plan says nothing about hospitalizations. It says nothing about ventilators. It says nothing about ICUs. It says nothing about the death rate. And the people of California are supposed to just play along as if he knows what he's talking about, as if he knows how to address this virus. Every business knows what to do to open safely. It involves social distancing. It involves masks if you can't socially distance. It involves increasing the opportunity to clean surfaces and wash your hands. But it also includes getting people back in the business. The governor, who doesn't really seem to understand business, throws a fig leaf out there and he says, well, I'll let you go at 10%, I'll let you go at 25%. There are not business models that allow you to keep the lights on and pay your employees if you can only service 10 or even 25% of your customers. And we know this. The customers aren't coming to your store if they don't feel safe. Parents aren't sending their kids back to school if they don't feel safe. Let us, Governor, show that we know what we're doing when we flatten the curve, that we know what we're doing when we follow your guidelines in terms of the hygiene, and let us reopen safely. We can do it in Orange County. We can do it in San Diego County. The OpenCalNow.com movement has got folks in San Bernardino, local leaders there and businesses there. Folks in Riverside County, local leaders there and businesses there, saying the same thing that Supervisor Desmond and Supervisor Gaspar are saying here in San Diego County, and that Supervisor Steele and I are saying up in Orange County. We can do this. We're not doing it for us. We're doing it for the kids that are standing behind us. We're doing it for the business owners that are standing behind us, who say they can safely get this economy back. Last quick point. The governor and the federal government is spending ungodly amounts of money to prop up a closed economy. Let's stop. Let's let the business owners behind us get back to work. Let's let people start providing for themselves and their families so that the government doesn't have to prop up a failing economy. And let's redirect some of those dollars to the people we know are at risk. The science tells us who's at risk and what we need to do. Let's protect those people and let the kids go back to school, let the businesses reopen, let life get back to normal. One of the people leading that effort and hurt the most by the governor is Leslie Cohen. You're going to hear from her in a moment. We're in front of her, one of her many establishments. The pain of this shutdown is uniquely visited on the children behind me and folks like Leslie Cohen who know she can bring the customers back, can bring them back safely, and can get us somewhat closer to normal as collectively we fight the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Leslie Cohen.
Well, I'm not going to be as vociferous, and I appreciate the warm welcome. My name is Leslie Cohen, and my husband and I started our family of restaurants in 1982 with a very small diner in central San Diego. We're standing in front of one of our newer restaurants, Draft Republic. We now have 3 of our next generation working with us every day, and we hope that our restaurants are around if our grandchildren decide to carry on what we've worked so hard to build. The hardest thing we ever did in March was to lay off about 1,800 of our 2,000 team members. We retained a couple hundred in an effort to feed our team members that were laid off with a food pantry that we established, and we served over 7,000 family meals until we were allowed to reopen with modifications and rehire about 1,200 of those. We have had people that work with us from 10, 20, 30 years, and we are so upset about the flux that we are in right now. Do we open? How do we open? Each one of our restaurants has a unique footprint. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So we spent a lot of money doing dividers and whatnot so we could seat safely. Then we were told, no, we can only seat outside. So we seated outside. We expanded our footprint as we did here at Island Prime and at Costera, Ventana, at Prado. We were able to extend our footprint, but now that we are only allowed 25% capacity inside, it's not sustainable. They are saying that over between 40 and 70% of restaurants nationally will fail, and some of them are really highly respected restaurants in the nation. Celebrated chefs that we all know are struggling with their restaurants. We're frustrated, we're confused with the governor's reliance on case rates to keep us open or shut us down again. We strongly feel we should be concentrating on positive test percentages, hospital capacity, ICU and PPE availability, and of course, mask wearing, social distancing, and employee screening. If we stay open and as we enter the fall and winter months, our restaurants cannot, as I said, survive on 25%, even though we in California do have the ability to serve almost year-round outside. Based on the current color-coded system, it will be difficult to reach 50% occupancy, and we're frustrated that there's no current state plan to get beyond 50%. The governor said there's no green plan. How is that sustainable? He says there's no green plan. He doesn't have a plan to open full throttle. That's a disappointment. Unfortunately, as of today, everything we've built over the past 38 years is in jeopardy. We know that COVID-19 isn't going away soon, but other states have put together plans to better balance the health of their communities with the health of the economy. We're here to support moving California safely forward for the sake of our team members, our guests, and our economy. Thank you for your time, and I'd like to introduce just a fabulous operator and a second-generation CEO, Mike Morton Jr. of the famous Brigantine Group.
Thank you, Leslie. That was a very nice introduction. Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Mike Morton Jr. I'm president of the Brigantine Restaurants, and one of our stores, Miguel's Cocina, is just across the parking lot here with a nice outdoor patio makeshift set up in the parking stalls. When the first shutdown took place in March, we furloughed over 1,200 employees, including both my brothers and myself. We lost several $100,000 worth of perishable inventory and tried to give out what we could to our staff members just to keep them going at home. Since then, we've reopened, closed again, and partially reopened with very limited and unsustainable capacity that Leslie was just speaking to. 25% is not going to cut it, especially as the weather turns. Now we're on the verge of potentially shutting down again. I'm hopeful that's not the case, but just 25% maintenance is not going to do it. We've got to get bigger than that. Like Leslie said, there's no light beyond 50%. That's just not right, and it's not fair. We have several employees, many of whom have families. They've grown up and raised their families in our company. They depend on their jobs with us, so we're doing everything we can to stay open. Even when it doesn't make sense sometimes, we're doing that for the people we work with for so long. Tents and parking lot patios have become the norm, but again, it's not a long-term solution. We just want to get back to operating safely with greater capacity, socially distanced, mask wearing, all the safety protocols, and really just get like every other state in the union. We are the only state that has this restrictive system. Everybody is at least 25%. That's only 2 states. Beyond that, it's 50% in North. And that's every state in the union. And I've heard a lot of people say that the government mandates aren't hurting the economy. It's just that people are unwilling to go out. From being in my own restaurants, a lot of the Cohen restaurants and several other competitive restaurants, I can tell you nothing could be further from the truth. There's no shortage of demand. There are waits everywhere, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, wherever you go. So it's just a huge supply shortage. And great, it's great to have a wait, but ultimately guests are gonna get tired of that, and what else does that do? It allows us to employ less people due to the limited capacity. We're basically having to ration hours to keep as many people as we can on because their livelihoods depend on us. So I'm just here today to ask the governor to either ease up on the restrictive system or just give control locally. The supervisors, Dr. Wooten and her team here in San Diego, and I'm sure the same thing in Orange County, they've got a good picture of the situation here and can better manage it than people 500 miles away in Sacramento. So please just give us that local control and allow us to safely reopen and employ the people who depend on us and who we cherish to keep our restaurants going. Thank you very much. I'd now like to introduce Rebecca Jones, Mayor of San Marcos. Thank you.
Hello, I'm the Mayor of San Marcos, Rebecca Jones, and today I would like to talk to you about the spirit of survival. All the businesses that I speak to and that I have witnessed here today are willing to apply these safety protocols that Walmart, Target, all of those sorts of businesses have been applying all along. We need to get people back to work. We need to get out of their way, but apply the safety protocols, of course. As government goes, we cannot be the one that stands in the way for them to put food on their table and keep the roof over their head. So today, I talk about San Marcos. We have over 4,000 business owners that I know that I talk to on a daily basis that are ready and willing to do what they need to do to keep people safe, to keep food on their table, and keep people employed. It is so important right now, and we can't lose sight of what we need to do, and that is keep people safe, but also keep them working. And I know for a fact that the crazy color wheel that we are on right now, as the goalpost changes daily almost, and I think it will be changing again today, we need to demand that our governor pays attention to these local stories, to these businesses that are trying to just provide jobs and food for their families and a roof over their head. So today we implore the governor, please listen to the stories, please pay attention. We need local control here in San Diego County and every county throughout the state. Please listen to our pleas. And today I would like to also introduce Jack Feller, the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Oceanside. Thank you.
So this is going to be a new thing for me with a computer. I think we got about 75 people here right now that could sign that petition, opencalgov.com. So immediately, cannot hear back there? I can't get closer. So I just want to encourage everybody here to spend a few minutes and register, get on that petition, and let's get California open, but at least San Diego and Orange counties. I have come from working, I've worked all my life, 56 years of work. The small businesses that were forced to comply with the health orders have hung on the best they could, and some did not survive. Allowed to reopen with restrictions, they once again did the best they could. Now faced with a third closer, more will not survive. Devastating families who have invested their life savings to have the American dream and crushing the lives of their employees. the 25% business capacity doesn't work at all. You've heard from two great operators. We have one in our city, and we're open for another one from Mike. This is where you need to say what Oceanside has done to help businesses and residents survive. We are not a one-size-fits-all. Oceanside's government has spent time trying to figure out ways to open streets to these restaurants, to give them more space, give them an effort that they can call successful. It's not a one-size-fits-all, and it's time for the governor to give the county and the city, give us the control that we desire. I need to say that I was a small business owner. In Oceanside, I had a restaurant that was a sub-sandwich deli. And with that restaurant, if I would have been forced to 10 to 25%, well, I probably would have a record by now with the state jail system, because I don't think I could have. There is no way I could have survived on that, and I would be so angry. I understand the option for us is to give every small business every chance to survive. I understand what it takes to make these businesses survive long hours, hard work, and desire to succeed. God has blessed Oceanside. We were soaring in January, and now we're scraping for all these small businesses to survive, which is the backbone of our community. Small business makes up everything. I have nobody to introduce, so somebody's going to step up here and finish this out. I thank you for coming. Remember, opencalgov.com. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for coming here today. We will be available for some questions. Just kind of to wrap it up here, as I stated earlier, we are not fighting against the science of medical science. We are not fighting against what the health officers are telling us to do to protect ourselves. What we want to do is incorporate that into the businesses. And a reporter asked me this morning, said, what's your utopian world? What are you trying to get to? And basically local control, but our businesses all have the same opportunities to open. We've all been to the big box stores. We've seen how they've evolved and how they've put in their protocols and how they've put in their safety measures. All businesses should have that same opportunity to open up under those same circumstances to keep everyone safe. I'd also like to see local control, where the county supervisors and the county health officers in San Diego County, who know the lay of the land here, are able to make these decisions instead of from the governor. Right now, we've had outbreaks at San Diego State, but should a business or a restaurant should be closed in Oceanside and Carlsbad because of an outbreak at San Diego State? What I'd like to see us do is, instead of the governor shutting down sectors of businesses statewide because of outbreaks, that we surgically go in and we work with those businesses where the outbreaks happen. We work with them in the county, get them into compliance, make sure it doesn't happen again. We put out that fire right there before it gets too big and before it spreads. So I'd like to see the local control, the safety factors implemented, San Diego businesses opening up quickly and safely. That's been the message the entire time. I also want to let you know the question I've been getting asked all day, text last night, is are we red or are we purple? Our numbers in San Diego County are good. We will stay in the red if our numbers hold, which is, I think it's 6.8, right below the 7. But the state, with this new color-tiered system, came out with a Ouija board up in Sacramento where they now adjust our rates and adjust our actual numbers based on the average testing by every county throughout the state, which we don't know what that is until yesterday. Or technically, we don't even know because the governor hasn't released that information yet or made it public. So the governor today at noon is going to be releasing their adjustments to our numbers at noon today. And so they've chosen to hold that information and to keep it to themselves and to make that announcement today. So that's, I can't really tell you if we're red or purple. It depends on what the state does to our actual numbers. So that hopefully is going to be coming out in about an hour and a half today. But if you have any questions, I just want to say thank you to all the speakers, to everybody that came here, very impassioned. We want to do things right. We want to do it safe. Thanks for being here. If you got any questions, we'll be happy to take them, or if you want to do individual interviews, that'd be fine too. Thanks for coming. What's that? Whew.